There are many great exercises out there to help address a winged shoulder blade or a winged scapula. But if you don't understand this key concept, then many of these exercises, some of the best ones out there, won't be nearly as effective because you're not understanding this key concept. Now, what I'm referring to is the foundation. What is the root cause as to why the shoulder blade fell off of the rib cage in a certain way in the first place? And this really goes for many issues in the body. We have to ask that question. Well, what's the foundation to that thing? What is the root cause to that thing? And that's the purpose of this video, is to, yes, address the root cause, but also to help strengthen the scapula in the ranges of motion it needs so that we can help to address a winged scapula. So the first thing we have to understand is the rib cage here. This is the foundation to the shoulder blade. The shoulder blade rests on the back part of the rib cage. And if we are too extended or too flexed, meaning rounded in the spine, we could be twisted, which we all are to some extent, then the shoulder blade can't rest effectively and move effectively on the rib cage. Now, the shoulder blade is more of this concave structure. So it's a little bit like this, meaning our rib cage is a little bit more convex, meaning that they need to rest over top of each other like this. But if the spine is too extended or too flexed or too rounded, then it's not going to be able to rest effectively. So sure, we can have different areas of the rib cage that will be more compressed, that could be pulling the scapula out of alignment. But in general, we want to be able to bring breath and awareness into our rib cage to really build a solid foundation. We also need to recognize that our connective tissue, our fascia, plays a big role in this as well. So can this be a full body approach? Really, anything and everything is to an extent, but we're going to get a little bit more localized to this area. So we're going to decompress some of these ribs and bring some breath and awareness to create that expansion for the shoulder blade to rest more effectively. And then I'm going to bring you through a couple exercises to start strengthening the scapula and the surrounding muscles so that it can rest in more of a proper alignment. For this first exercise, you're going to need a rolled up towel or a block from Block Therapy as our fascia decompression tool, and to give us some sensory feedback on where we want to bring our breath into. Now, if you have a winged shoulder blade only on one side, then you can focus on that one side. If it's both shoulder blades, then simply do this on both sides. So either grab the rolled up towel or the block from Block Therapy, and we're going to position this on more of the upper side rib. So not in the armpit, but just below. And we're actually going to be targeting the serratus, which is a muscle we're going to be talking about quite a bit today, but also all of this connective tissue. So I'm going to be on my right side. You can choose whichever side that you need to be working. And I'm going to very slowly bring myself to the block. Now, as I'm here, bring the body into a relaxed state. So try not to extend the spine too much. Just try to find neutrality and then rest your head in your hand like this. The first thing I want us to do is just really calm and slow down the breath. Whenever you're doing any sort of fascia decompression release or trigger point release, we need to be in a calm state, or else our fascia is just going to go into protective mode and we're not going to be able to essentially let its guard down. So exhale completely through the nose. I want you to be breathing in and out through the nose and just slow it down. Now, once you've taken a few breaths doing this, as you inhale, I want you to feel your belly, but also your rib cage start to expand and get a little bit bigger. Now, this is great because we have some sensory feedback with the block or the towel. So as you're inhaling, I want you to slowly start bringing your awareness to where the tool is. So I'm going to start with the belly, but then travel it up and try to create more expansion in these upper side ribs. And an example will look like this. Exhale fully through the nose. I'm going to even close off this top side slightly by just engaging these left oblique muscles. Then as I inhale, I'm going to keep that engaged. And very slow, I can already feel a lot of expansion coming into those upper side ribs. So when we spend a minimum of 3 up to 5 minutes in this position, we're allowing the connective tissue to rehydrate so that we can start activating the proper muscles and the fascia more effectively when we get to that phase. Once you've settled in, sure, you can surge towards the front very slow, but the key is we're moving slow, we're not moving fast. If we move fast, we're just going to trigger the fascia to essentially tighten back up, and we're not going to be able to dive deep and actually release and rehydrate the fascia and these muscles. And then you can surge towards the back if you would like. This might feel amazing for you, but essentially what I'm getting at is you can explore this range from the side to the front and to the back, moving very slowly, following your breath. If it's too intense at any point, just back off, ease off slightly, reconnect at a less intensity, and just make sure that you're breathing through a calm cadence within your breath. Try to exhale a little bit longer, maybe 6 counts, and inhale for 4 counts. Once you've done so, you're going to place your top hand in front of you, exhale up and off, and if you're wanting to, you can repeat that on the opposite side. Next, we're going to move into an isometric exercise that's going to really help to challenge our fascia, our muscles, our nervous system to help rewire this, but also our breath. So we just did a bit of a fascia decompression breathing exercise, but now we want to bring this in and start creating some muscular and fascial engagement while still maintaining this proper breath and biasing expansion into a certain area. We're going to be working on the serratus, which is a key player here, especially for addressing a winged scapular shoulder blade. And the serratus essentially helps to protract the shoulder blades and keep the shoulder blades more in flush with the rib cage. So that's getting further away from the spine, but it also helps with upward rotation of the shoulder blade as well, which we're going to be addressing shortly. To get started, you can either do this on the floor. If that's too intense, you can even do this up against a wall, which I will show a clip of what that will look like, but it's all the same key concepts here. Let's start by having your hands on your shoulders, knees under your hips, and let's just start by widening the hands a little bit more now, so it's just outside of the shoulders. And what you can do is even internally rotate the hands and the shoulders just slightly for the purpose of this exercise. Now, once we're in this position, I want you to feel that you're pushing the shoulder blades further away from the spine. That's the shoulder blade protraction that I was talking about, and that's the serratus being the key player here. Now, as we're pushing away, feel that your spine is coming up towards the ceiling as well. Make sure you're not shrugging your shoulders up towards your ears. Keep them in a neutral alignment. And now exhale fully and feel these low ribs are coming down. We don't want to be extending the spine like this. We want to find that neutral alignment here. You can also play with your pelvis, find that neutral pelvic alignment, and then this will be our starting point. Now, as we maintain a slight bend in the elbows, let's keep pushing, and I want you to exhale fully through your nose. Bring the tongue to the roof of your mouth and hold it there this entire time. Now you're going to feel at the end part of the exhale that your core might engage slightly, maybe those side oblique muscles. Lock that in place just slightly. Then I want you to very gently and slowly inhale through the nose and feel that the breath is starting to travel into the back part of your rib cage. So we're still creating some engagement here by pushing the shoulder blades away from your spine. You might feel a little quivery in your arms, which is totally normal. And just feel that expansion traveling higher and higher in the back part of your rib cage. Now you might not feel that right away. It might take a few breaths. It might even take a few sets or a few days, and that's okay. Over time, we're going to help decompress the back part of the rib cage, bring back some of that natural spinal flexion that we need without overdoing it. And this is going to be a key player when it comes down to really addressing the shoulder blade, and that it can actually rest and slide and glide effectively on the rib cage. So perform about 8 breaths, maybe 10 breaths, and do 2 to 3 sets of that before progressing to the next exercise. As I mentioned earlier, there's many exercises you can do to help strengthen the shoulder blades into more of the correct alignment, to help with shoulder blade protraction or upward rotation of the scapula. Now, with any exercise that you're doing, everything that we did leading up to this is more that foundational component. We need to accomplish that first, or else the exercises won't be nearly as effective. So for this next one, we're gonna start to protract, but then bring the shoulder blades into more of that upward rotation. A really key concept here that I want you to understand is move in the amount of space that you currently have available. So if I am bringing my shoulder into flexion like this, let's say this is my end range. This is also upward rotation of my scapula. I can find more by just tipping my entire rib cage back like this, but that's not the goal. You're just gonna feed old patterns, and that's just a compensation strategy. So really understand that we're just working in the amount of space that we currently have available, and to improve that, it's gonna come down from doing this work and doing the fascia decompression in certain areas. But as soon as you do that, you wanna start owning that space that we created, which is the purpose of these exercises. Now you can do this on the floor, or similar to the other one, up against a wall. And I'm gonna show it on the floor here. So you can use a foam roller, you can use a rolled up towel, but this will probably be more so just one arm at a time, or even a water bottle. If you have a foam roller, it's more ideal. And we're gonna do all of the key cues that I mentioned earlier. So we're going to start by just using this part of our forearm on the foam roller, and let's push the shoulder blades away. Let's bring the ribs into neutrality, so bring them down, don't extend the spine. Connect the tongue, find the neutral pelvic alignment here, and this is our starting point. Then when we're ready, we're going to exhale, nice and slow, while I'm pushing into the foam roller, and I'm bringing my arms further away from me, which is shoulder flexion and upward rotation of the scapula. Let's say this is my end range, this is my end range. Can I get further? Sure, if I compensate and do this through my spine and through my back. But we only want to work in the space we currently have available without the compensations. So you're going to exhale, hold this for an inhale, and then very slowly exhale, and you're going to come back. I recommend that you avoid doing quick movements like this. I always find the slower the better. So you can even hang out here for a few breaths, and then you can very slowly come back, hang out here for a few breaths. So I'd recommend doing at least 5 repetitions if you can, even up to 10, doing about 2 to 3 sets. And this is really gonna help to do everything that I talked about with strengthening the shoulder blades into more of that correct alignment. You're gonna probably notice some cool changes in relatively a shorter period of time, but again, understand everyone is different, and the more you do it with the more intention, the faster results that you will get. So I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you in the next one.